Today we will be delving into the strange death of Michael Hastings. In the realm of modern journalism, few names evoke as much intrigue and controversy as Michael Hastings. A renowned journalist and author, Hastings rose to prominence with his fearless coverage of war zones and political scandals, captivating audiences with his incisive reporting and his uncompromising pursuit of the truth. However, it was not just his professional endeavors that garnered him attention and notoriety, but the circumstances surrounding his tragic demise. From suspicions of surveillance and FBI scrutiny to the discovery of classified files related to his work, the encroaching fingers of conspiracy loom large over Hastings' legacy. As we delve deeper into the intricate web of his life and career, one cannot help but wonder, was Michael Hastings the victim of a sinister plot, or simply a casualty of circumstance? Michael Mahon Hastings was born on January 28, 1980, and he was a notable American journalist known for his impactful contributions to publications such as the Rolling Stones and BuzzFeed. He had been raised in various locations including New York, Canada, and Vermont, along with having pursued education at New York University. His career gained significant attention through his coverage of the Iraq War for Newsweek during the 2000s, following a tragic event where his fiancée, Andrea Barhomovich, was killed in an ambush. Hastings would pen his first book, known as I Lost My Love in Baghdad, A Modern War Story, in 2008. Which delved into his personal journey intertwined with the insurgency that took his partner's life. One of his most acclaimed works was Runaway General in 2010, which was an expose published in Rolling Stone magazine profiling General Stanley McChrystal, the commander of NATO's International Security Assistance Force during the Afghanistan War. This piece would shed light on the contempt displayed by McChrystal and his team towards the civilian government officials, and ultimately was what led to McChrystal's resignation. Hastings continued to delve into this narrative with The Operators in 2012, offering a detailed narrative of his extensive time spent with McChrystal in Europe and Afghanistan. It is important to understand that he did not shy away from controversy, becoming a vocal critic of the Obama administration, the Democratic Party, along with the growing surveillance state, particularly during the 2013 Department of Justice investigation, which targeted journalists. And his final piece exemplifies this, and that was Why Democrats Love to Spy on Americans, published by BuzzFeed on June 7, 2013, which encapsulated his outspoken views. Tragically, Hastings would meet an untimely demise in an automobile crash in Los Angeles on June 18, 2013. The aftermath of his death would spark considerable speculation, fueled in particular by a toxicology report revealing the presence of THC and methamphetamine in his system, leading to a series of conspiracy theories building up around him. Even after his passing, Hastings' legacy endures through his posthumously published novel, The Last Magazine, in 2014. And even with this, there is the lingering mystery surrounding the circumstances of his untimely demise. Now that we have the knowledge on the victim's background, let's move on to the event which led to a conspiracy. On June 18, 2013, Michael Hastings tragically lost his life in a single-vehicle car crash in Los Angeles, in particular in the Hancock Park neighborhood. This was when he was driving his Mercedes-Benz C250 coupe. Hastings would go on to collide with a palm tree around 4:25 a.m. Eyewitnesses would describe this horrifying scene as follows. The car appeared to be speeding at maximum velocity, sparking and engulfed in flames. Security footage would capture the harrowing moments just prior to and while Hastings' vehicle careened out of control. The impact was severe, with the engine reportedly ejecting itself to a significant distance away from the car crash site. Hastings' very own body was so badly burned that identification had to be done with fingerprints matched by the FBI. Despite speculation, the Los Angeles Police Department ruled out foul play just 2 days after the incident, attributing the death to a tragic accident as confirmed by the coroner's report. An autopsy would go on to reveal that Hastings suffered massive blunt force trauma consistent with a high-speed collision. Additionally, the toxicology report would detect THC and methamphetamines in his system, further complicating the circumstances surrounding his death. It is important to understand that in the days leading up to the crash, Hastings' brother, Jonathan, had flown to Los Angeles to assist him. As it turns out, he was concerned about Michael's well-being and the potential for substance abuse. Jonathan attempted to intervene, but Michael had evaded his efforts before tragically meeting his demise shortly thereafter. Despite the swirling rumors and speculations, Jonathan firmly dismissed the notion of foul play, citing his recent interactions with Michael and their discussions about his struggles. All the while, the media mourned the loss of Hastings, with prominent figures such as Chris Hayes and Rachel Maddow, along with his colleagues at BuzzFeed, paying tribute to his impactful journalism. His legacy would continue to live on through various mediums, including the dedication of a 2015 documentary film, Imminent Threat, directed by Janek Ambrose, which honored his courageous work. As it seems, many agreed that Michael Hastings' impactful reporting was rather important due to it spanning a significant variety of events, including the coverage of the Occupy Wall Street movement. In collaboration with WikiLeaks, Hastings and Rolling Stones would go on to reveal in February 2012 that the US Department of Homeland Security had been monitoring the movement closely, which some believe implies that they had also been monitoring him. A DHS report from October 2011 highlighted concerns about the disruptive effects of mass protest on transportation and government services in major cities. It must be noted that Hastings criticized the report's conclusion, which suggested that the burden of controlling protesters fell on law enforcement and movement organizers. Another notable piece that might have ruffled some feathers, written by Hastings, focused on Private First Class Bo Bergdahl, who was captured by the Taliban in Afghanistan after walking off his army base in 2009. In 2012, Hastings would go on to shed light on Bergdahl's struggles and the Pentagon's reluctance to negotiate for his release. In an interview with MSNBC's Alex Wagner, Hastings revealed that tensions within the Pentagon regarding Bergdahl's situation seemed to have neared a boiling point. A response from a White House official dismissed the relevance regarding Bergdahl's capture. Ultimately, he would be exchanged for 5 Taliban prisoners in 2014. Sparking further debate and scrutiny, along with no doubt angering some rather powerful officials. Hastings' reporting was rather fearless, as he seemed to more often than not illuminate issues of government surveillance and military affairs, which left a lasting impact on journalism, public discourse, and said military officials he would cover. It must be noted that Michael Hastings was known for his public and outspoken criticism of various aspects of US foreign policy, in particular the drone program. In May 2013, he would publicly condemn then-President Barack Obama and his approach to foreign affairs, equating it to a continuation of Bush-era neoconservatism and what he termed total militarism. Hastings voiced his concern that Obama's policies prioritized lethal action and surveillance rather than other diplomatic measures, characterizing them and the then-president as emblematic of a national security state. During his critique, Hastings singled out MSNBC contributor Perry Bacon Jr., accusing him of merely echoing the White House's narratives, and with recent admissions of coordination between the press and the White House, this seems all the more damning. This bold stance exemplified Hastings' commitment to holding those in power accountable, regardless of party or creed, along with challenging the mainstream discourse on critical issues. It must also be noted that during the weeks just before he was slain, reporter Michael Hastings was researching a story about a privacy lawsuit brought on by the Florida socialite Jill Kelly against the Defense Department and the FBI. Hastings was set to meet the representative of Kelly the week following his demise, and in accordance to a person who was reportedly close to Kelly, Hastings was going to write an article for both the Rolling Stones magazine and BuzzFeed. Kelly was alleging that military officials and the FBI had leaked her name to the media in order to discredit her after she reported receiving a stream of emails traced to Paula Bordwell, a biographer of a former CIA director, David H. Petrus. This was according to the lawsuit filed in federal court. Following Michael Hastings' untimely demise, speculation surrounding the circumstances of his fatal crash would emerge. Richard A. Clarke, a former U.S. National Coordinator for Security, Infrastructure Protection, and Counterterrorism, suggested the possibility of a cyber attack on Hastings' vehicle. Clarke noted that intelligence agencies, including those of major powers such as the United States, possessed the capability to remotely take control of vehicles while not confirming a cyber attack. Clarke emphasized the potential difficulty in tracing such an incident, which would be convenient for a litany of the individuals who could have potentially held a grudge against Hastings due to his reporting. Adding to the intrigue, Hastings himself had expressed concerns about being under FBI scrutiny. Just prior to his crash, he would send emails to his colleagues indicating that he was onto a significant story and needed to lay low. WikiLeaks would reveal that Hastings had contacted his lawyer, Jennifer Robinson, shortly before the incident. Additionally, reports from the LA Weekly suggest that he was working on exposés related to the CIA at the time of his death. Amidst the swirl of conspiracy theories, the FBI spokesperson, Laura A. Miller, addressed inquiries, asserting that there was no evidence that suggested Hastings was targeted due to his alleged involvement in an FBI investigation. LAPD investigators initially attributed the car crash to high speed and ruled out foul play. The FBI spokesperson, recognizing the growing speculation, reached out to FBI agents nationwide in order to dispel any unfounded theories surrounding Hastings' death, in particular those targeting the FBI itself. And it must be noted that his death had apparently garnered the attention of then FBI Director Robert Mueller and the Department of Justice itself. The FBI would go on to promptly refute claims that Michael Hastings was ever under investigation by the agency, dismissing rumors of his alleged involvement in any ongoing inquiries. However, intriguing details would emerge from Hastings' final hours. According to reporters from LA Weekly, his neighbor, Jordana Taiping, recounted an encounter where Hastings urgently sought to borrow her Volvo, expressing fear about driving his own car. Taiping declined his request, unaware of the events that would unfold thereafter. Technical analysis from Frank Marcus, the technical director of Motor Trend, that the intensity of the subsequent fire aligns with an impact of a high-speed car crash. Despite this assessment, conflicting perspectives are abound regarding Hastings' demise. Some media outlets reference previous statements from Hastings about receiving death threats from the military following his article on General McChrystal. Close friends, including Cenk Uygur, host of the Young Turks, and a personal friend of Hastings, described him as being in a state of heightened agitation before his death. Concerns were raised about his mental state and suspicions of government surveillance, contributing to an atmosphere of paranoia amongst those close to him. However, amidst the speculation and theories, Hastings' family offered a different perspective. His widow, Elise Jordan, dismissed notions of a conspiracy attributing to his death, rather attributing his death to a tragic accident. Similarly, other family members shared concerns about Hastings' erratic behavior, with his older brother Jonathan recounting efforts to organize an intervention due to suspicions of a drug-induced manic episode. These contrasting accounts underscore the complexity of Hastings' final days and the ongoing debate surrounding the circumstances of his death, leaving lingering questions and differing interpretations among those who knew him best. What is known concretely is that Michael Hastings reached out to Jennifer Robinson, a lawyer associated with WikiLeaks, mere hours before his death, expressing concerns about an alleged FBI investigation into his activities. This revelation was shared via a tweet from WikiLeaks itself, adding another layer of complexity to the speculations surrounding Hastings' demise. In response to inquiries about FBI involvement, Laura, the spokeswoman for the FBI's Los Angeles field office, expressed uncertainty about how to address the matter. She highlighted the challenges of investigating vague claims without concrete details, particularly in light of Hastings' recent residence in Los Angeles. Behind the scenes, internal FBI emails obtained by Vice would eventually show that the Bureau's handling into the inquiries of Hastings' death were an attempt to refute claims of a federal investigation. These documents, disclosed as part of a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit, provide insight into the Bureau's response to the public scrutiny surrounding the circumstances of Hastings' passing. Just 2 days after Hastings' death, Elmer corresponded with Andy Namier of the Los Angeles Police Department, inquiring about suspicions of foul play and whether the LAPD had issued an official statement regarding the incident. This exchange underscores the collaboration between local and federal law enforcement agencies to address the concerns of the public and provide clarity on the investigation's progress. The FBI would eventually release a file which they had on Michael Hastings, consisting of 21 pages and accompanying attachments, to the public in September 24, 2013. This disclosure followed a joint lawsuit filed by investigative journalist Lawson Leopold and MIT doctoral candidate Ryan Shapiro in July 2013, after the FBI failed to respond to their Freedom of Information Act requests within the mandated 20-day period. In August 2013, Leopold announced that the Department of Justice had acknowledged the likely existence of responsive records related to Hastings and his investigations within the FBI's archives. Consequently, Al Jazeera, in collaboration with Shapiro, unveiled the results from separate FOIA requests, revealing that the FBI's Washington field office had initiated a file on Hastings proper in June 2012, confirming Hastings' suspicions, even if it was post-mortem. The file was created to compile unclassified media articles and document contentious reporting by Rolling Stones magazine on July 7, 2012. Jeff Light, the attorney behind the FOIA lawsuit, noted the rarity of the FBI's decision to open such files on journalists, suggesting that it signaled an unusual level of scrutiny directed at Hastings and his work. The release of the FBI's files fueled further suspicion and scrutiny surrounding Hastings' life and career, underscoring the complexities surrounding his untimely demise, and for many hinting at a further conspiracy being related to his death. Information would show that FBI intelligence analysts were directed to conduct a comprehensive search of all databases to determine if there were any indications that Michael Hastings was the subject of an investigation proper. Following through searches of multiple FBI databases, officials would state that they found no documents pertaining to Hastings directly, and the Bureau of Criminal Investigations Division confirmed that he was under no scrutiny. The FBI spokesperson communicated internally that once all divisions had completed their checks and were satisfied with their findings, that headquarters would be informed that there was no ongoing investigation involving Hastings. This preemptive action aimed to prevent any potential information from emerging after the issuance of a press statement ruling out an investigation. Initially, the FBI headquarters intended to release a statement asserting that Hastings had never been under investigation by the FBI. This was according to an email from FBI spokesperson Paul Bresson. This statement deviated from the FBI's usual response of neither confirming nor denying an investigation, which many saw as rather suspicious. However, a suggestion from another individual prompted a modification to the statement, clarifying that Hastings was not under FBI investigation specifically in relation to his journalistic endeavors. This adjustment in wording carries a rather suspicious significance due to the existence of a file created by the FBI's Washington field office on June 11, 2012. The existence of this file, which was established to compile unclassified media articles related to controversial reporting by Rolling Stones magazine, would include Hastings' investigative pieces on the disappearance of Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. The report examined the circumstances surrounding Bergdahl's capture and the subsequent rescue by special forces in exchange for Taliban detainees from Guantanamo Bay, seemingly contradicting the FBI's previous unmodified statements. The FBI also came across a 3-page file related to Michael Hastings in a cross-reference file linked to an international terrorism investigation surrounding Bo Bergdahl's disappearance. This file was disclosed approximately 2 months after Hastings' passing. It remains unclear why this particular document did not surface during the initial searches of the FBI archives, despite the efforts of agents and spokespersons, and it begs the question, what other files could have been hidden, lost, or potentially destroyed? Despite the FBI's statements refuting any investigation into Hastings, media inquiries would persist. The FBI spokesperson would continue to share details of ongoing inquiries in an email to the FBI headquarters, as she would relay a reporter's query about Hastings' belief that the FBI had been speaking to his close contacts, emphasizing the importance of dispelling the rumors. Said spokesperson would eventually reiterate the FBI's stance on Hastings, that he was under no investigation under the specific circumstances detailed by the FBI, and offered assistance to the reporter should they require any further clarification. Then we would have Paul Brenson, the FBI spokesperson for the Washington field office, commend Ellimer's response, affirming the importance of consistently referring to the official statement in any and all addresses and inquiries surrounding Hastings. In conclusion, the wealth of information surrounding Michael Hastings' life, work, and his untimely death continues to spark speculation and debate, particularly regarding a potential conspiracy surrounding his untimely demise, which the government has seemingly failed to quell. From his groundbreaking investigative journalism to his reported concerns about surveillance and the FBI, Hastings' story is fraught with unanswered questions and lingering doubts. The discovery of FBI files related to his work and the inconsistencies of official statements only serve to deepen the mystery surrounding his death. As the investigation into Hastings' passing remains inconclusive, the specter of conspiracy looms large, leading us to ponder the possibility that there may be more to his story than meets the eye. If you remained with me until the end, I thank you, and I do hope you stay tuned and subscribe for more content.